Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of What You Say Poet. We've been going hard since, I don't know, I lost track. It's been a while. But we out here, we're doing our virtual interviews. We're connecting with amazing poets from all over the world, all over the country, and even all over New York. You already know, we gotta bring that New York flavor too. So I'm really, really, really excited to introduce you to tonight's guest. He just dropped his first book. I'm super excited for him because publishing a book is not easy. He's a dope poet from NYC. So without further ado, please give it up to Anthony Gill, but also known as Urban Poet. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome. You look fabulous. Like that ring light got you glowing.
I had to get prepared. I was like, let me get prepared for this.
I need a ring light like that.
I was like, no, I'm not playing no games tonight.
I see you ain't playing. So those of you watching, feel free to comment any questions, any comments on what we talk about. We can see your comments. We can interact. So if you have any questions for Anthony, by all means, please, please, please share them. So Anthony, before we get into digging into your book and your life as a poet and all that stuff, I see. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Let the audience know a little bit of what you got going on. Like, what's good?
Oh, what's good? What's good? Well, so much going on. The book release came out on October 1st, which I'm super excited about. It's been doing so well on social media, so I'm like super happy about that. This is our third restock.
Yes.
On Friday. So I'm
Third
restock. So I'm so excited, so super excited. Besides poetry, obviously just staying clean and staying healthy, because of COVID, and the numbers are going right back up in New York. Yeah. So we're about to get another lockdown, and just trying to keep the creative juices flowing and continue doing every day, gotta do what I gotta do.
So I want to ask you first, like your name, Urban Poet, your pen name. Where did that come from? Is it because you're from New York and
I chose Urban Poet because I wanted a name to define, not it define me. You understand what I mean? So I wanted to create a brand for Urban Poet of what like modern poetry is. I feel like because of people like you and Leah and Solatry and Shay, you guys have given us a platform, but there's so many different poets. You understand what I mean? Yes. And we dibble and dabble in so many other things besides poetry. So Urban Poet is just basically my Sasha Fierce, my Beyonce. Like when she's on stage, she's Sasha Fierce. When I'm on stage, I'm Urban Poet. There's no longer Anthony Gill.
I feel you. Oh, look, you got some people that love the book. The book is amazing.
Aww.
Oh, everybody's showing love. Yes. So your book is titled Letters from the Urban Poet, right?
Yes.
Now I know that you dedicated the book to your brother who you lost. Yeah. What was that process like? Because I could imagine it being really difficult to constantly kind of like relive that pain. So what was like that process like putting that book together?
It was a struggle. It took me 2 years to write because I finally was able in a place to write it. My brother died only 4 years ago, and my brother was murdered. So it was not like he had an illness that we already knew and planned that he was going to pass away. Yeah. It was like we sent him to school and he never came back. So with writing Letters of the Urban Poet, it was what saved me because I was in such a negative space. I was in such a negative space of unhappiness and my depression. I suffer from depression. So it just built up, and it took so long for 2 years for me to finally get in a place that, not that I will ever be comfortable with it, but I'm comfortable to share my story. And this is my story. You know what I mean?
Yes. So it's been part of like you healing.
I think I could honestly say that poetry saved me.
Yes.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for poetry.
When did you start writing?
I started writing before he passed away, but it was more like bullshit. Like it was like Yeah, it was kind of.
Roses are red, violets
Yes,
are
you know when you
blue.
got that crush in high school that you're like, oh, he fine. But I took it more seriously because my mom told me you have this talent to write how you feel because verbally I couldn't say how I felt. You know,
Yeah,
my family growing up and being what we call in machismo culture, basically like men are not supposed to cry. You know, you're not supposed to show your emotions. You're supposed to be there to comfort everybody. So I
yeah,
was like, who's gonna comfort me?
yeah,
And poetry ended up comforting me at night. Like ended up making me feel warm and hugging me at night when I had those tears and when I thought about him. And I still have those hard days and I still rely
yeah,
on poetry.
yeah.
But you know, he is the reason why the book is here. So I continue to keep his legacy and his name alive through the book.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure he's looking down at you super proud,
Oh, that
like
means a lot.
seeing you writing and following your creative dreams. So I would assume that your family and your friends, you have a very like big support system when it
Oh,
comes to your art.
absolutely. Absolutely. I could say that this year definitely showed me, um, like we were saying earlier, with COVID and the injustice and the elections and everything that happened, 2020 was tough.
Oh my gosh.
2020 was tough. Like,
I
I need
know.
2021 to come already.
Like I will never complain about another year.
Ever, ever, ever. But 2020 really showed me support system. And in the book, I actually have a list of names of people who went to every of my show and I'm telling you supported me through rain. I also did a charity event in January for gun violence because my brother was shot and killed.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the room was packed from wall to wall. It was with Solar Tree.
Oh
Um,
yes. My
yeah,
God,
so,
shout out to Jose. That's
yeah, so I did it. I teamed up with Jose in January, and I'm telling you, the room was wall to wall packed. It was like a gala. Everybody dressed up in their nice suits, and it was just amazing. And the support system, 2020, I could say, definitely built me up, and it's the reason why I continue to do what I do, and it's
yeah.
the reason why the book is successful.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what was one of the biggest challenges that you faced when you were trying to publish? Are you self-published, or
I'm
did
self-published. Yeah,
that's not that easy to do?
no, it's not.
So
It's
what are
not.
some
It's an investment that you make in your career. And I
absolute?
looked at it, if I could buy a pair of sneakers that are $800 or you know some Balenciagas or some Yeezys, I could put that money into continuing making my dreams come true and hopefully being an inspiration to somebody else.
Mm, where do you see yourself as like as a writer or like a creative person in the future? Let's say like the next let's keep it simple. Let's keep it
Yeah.
short term. The next like 2 years. What are some of your creative goals?
Um in the next 2 years, that's difficult to say because I didn't know in 2 years I'll be here. Like if somebody would have told me like 2 years ago that I would have the balls to share my story in front of people on stage, and I've lost the nerves and everything. So I feel so comfortable on stage. So I would say in 2 years, I would hope to continue building my brand and hopefully a second book.
Yes.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully a Letters of the Urban Poet Part 2 or a deluxe version.
The deluxe version,
Yeah,
the trilogy.
the trilogy, yes.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Now I noticed that you have a lot of tattoos.
Yes.
I love tattoos.
Do
I have
you?
yeah, I have like 9, but you know, looking
Oh,
at
I
you,
lost count. Like I'm
yeah.
everywhere.
What is like where did that obsession come from? Like what's your favorite tattoo?
Well, my favorite tattoo is the one on my head because it's the day that my brother was killed.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, head hurts.
that is
Um,
heavy. That's a heavy to carry on your head.
I wanted something that well, with his tattoo, I feel like a lot of people do the whole angel stuff and the name stuff. I wanted just
Yeah.
Roman numerals. I wanted something very simple, and I wanted something that I could cover up with hair or you know when I want to see it. Like you know what I mean? It's not something that I constantly get reminded of.
Yeah, yeah.
But with tattoos, the reason why I actually did it, which is I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the gay community can relate. In the gay community, I say that we, as each other, as gay men, we over sexualize each other. So everything is sex.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, so we look at each other and the first thing we think of is sex. With me modifying myself was more to take away from that whole stigma of just being, sexualized. I want you to notice who I am. I want you to get to know me and question me and be like, why did you do that? Because you're getting to know a part of me instead of us just jumping into the bed. You know what I mean?
A nice conversation.
It's a conversational piece. Yes.
Yeah. It might have backfired on you because tattoos are sexy as hell. So
you're right.
You might be going like, still getting the sexualized, but you'll get the conversation too.
Yeah, but I honestly, with poetry, I started realizing that people started to notice more what I have to say, which I'm so grateful for.
Yes.
Because I have a brain. You understand what I mean? And I know how to use it. And I want to inspire. And I want to tell my story because I know there's so many people hurting out here and people don't mention it. You understand what I mean? So if it takes somebody like me with the confidence to talk to the people that doesn't have the voice, then that's my job to do, and that's my purpose.
Yeah. Ooh, talk about it. I love that.
I came ready.
When people come through talking that purpose talk, I get excited.
Yes, we all need to find our purpose.
And so, how were you able to find yours? What led you to understanding your purpose?
What led me to find my purpose, honestly, was getting to know who I was, and falling in love with myself. A lot of us don't realize that, yeah, we may be happy with life itself, but are you happy in general with yourself?
Yeah.
That you don't need a partner or you don't need a group of friends, that you could sit home in yourself and fall in love with yourself and have a conversation with yourself and be like, okay, I like the person who I am. So what made me find my purpose was me falling in love with myself. And I feel like 2020, regardless of all the stuff that has happened, it made me love myself and it brought all the issues to the forefront and made me want to deal with it right then and now. You understand what I mean? There was no vice. We didn't have a club to go to drink or whatever. We had to face our demons head on.
At home all day.
All day. And we're about to again.
I know. Well, I feel like maybe this second round, we probably will be able to manage it a little bit better because I think the first time that this lockdown happened, it was almost like a culture shock for us.
Yeah.
Like I was almost like, what the hell am I going to do with myself? Like I run a platform for creatives. Like I had open mics and things like that. So, I mean, but as creatives, we figure it out.
we do. And I think it helped us with our creativeness because we still have to have a 9 to 5. You understand what I mean? So we have to live. We can't only depend on our creativeness. So when they took away the 9 to 5, we're literally stuck at home with our laptops. And that's when the juices really came flowing. And it made me make the book faster. Because again, it took 2 years for me to feel comfortable to tell the stories, but most of the rest of the stories came within this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite poem in the book?
Oh, several. My 2 favorite are obviously one that I dedicated to George Floyd, because of obviously that was one of the biggest, and of course Breonna Taylor, but George Floyd was the first thing that led the protesting and all that stuff, and I labeled it I Can't Breathe because of obviously the viral video that went around.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my favorites because it's what I stand for. You know what I mean? I stand for injustice for my brothers and sisters, and of course, another one is Toxic Love. I was in a domestic abusive relationship. My first relationship with a guy actually was very emotionally abusive. It was physically abusive. So that one was a little hard to write because I had to go to reopen those wounds that I suddenly closed. But I can say those 2 are my 2 favorites.
Really? Well, do you want to share some of the poems in your book?
Yes. I have to go back and read it because my memory.
Yes, please, by all means.
We can start off with, of course, I Can't Breathe.
Yes, I would love to hear it.
Yes, let me find it. In the book, I have a whole social injustice. So I wrote all the names of everyone we lost this year.
Oh, wow.
With Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. So that meant so much to me.
Wow.
And this is I Can't Breathe. Police brutality or not, you decide. I can't breathe. Officer, I'm just working out. License and registration, please. I have a hoodie on. This is when it usually happens. The fear of a black man or black woman heading home. He can't put on a hoodie or wear some headphones. You hear the news. He starts rushing home, and then the real story unfolds. Hands gets asked to turn around, and then boom, he is gone. I want to know how much more us brown boys and black boys should take. The Bible said we are equal, but guess God hasn't been seeing what's been happening today. I can't go down to the corner store where having the store owner ask me if I need some help. There's a bunch of white folks around, but I'm the only one he can't take his eyes away. I want to know how much more brothers and sisters do I have to lose so this world can know that it's not okay. I want to know how many people have to die so these fucking cops can sit down and take a psychological test. Is this really the world that we are living in today, where those who meant to protect us become our enemies and leave us with blood on our hands? The prison system is set to fail us. They ain't trying to see us win. What for? They get to go home in their white picket fence houses while I have to take the 2 train home, locking me up for a small ounce of marijuana while the white man gets to go on the news and shoot up schools and shit. And don't get this poem wrong, I love everyone as a whole. But you tell me, why is it only my black brothers and sisters are the ones who are gone? I'm tired of turning on the channel, seeing these mothers crying, wishing that their kids were coming home. My biggest fear is that I'll be next. My heart continues to break. Sandra, remember her? She gets stopped for a parking ticket and then she's gone. Or what about my boy Oscar? On New Year's Day, he jumps the train and no one ever sees him again. And that's just a couple of names. I wrote this piece to open everybody's eyes today. Love each other because you never know which one of us is next. Police brutality. I won't stop until it's gone.
Yes, go off.
You know, I did it for my people.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, sometimes we just have to be that voice, you know? We have to be that voice.
And we have to be an ally because, yeah, my dad has black, but at the same time, because my skin is not dark, my issues, what their issues may not has happened to me, but I could be an ally and stand with them because, yeah, it did happen to me personally, but I stand with you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm empathetic to what you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we need more of 2020. We need more empathy and we need more love for each other as a nation. And hopefully with the recent election, we start, you know, bringing it all back.
Yes, let's see. We can make America empathetic again.
Please.
We definitely need that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got your fans are in here. Like, yo,
I see them. I'm so grateful.
If you guys have any questions for Anthony, please drop them in the comments. We will gladly post them up.
Give me those questions, guys.
Answer them. So you said it took you 2 years to write this book, and you had to self-publish. Yeah. What was something that you learned while you were being self-published that you probably would have never learned?
The business side of it. It's business. I was gonna get published before I started doing self-publishing. I was gonna get published in a store, right? And I was talking to my friend Anthony. He's probably watching today, and I like to go to Anthony for a lot of advice because he's very super smart. So there was a deal on the table, and I started seeing that the profiting that I was making on Instagram obviously all came to me. So I was kind of like getting reimbursed for that money that I put in for the book.
Yeah.
The deal that they wanted to give me, I was only getting maybe 20% or 30% of the sales while they were getting most of it.
Yeah.
So it was just for me to have a book in the shelves, but they were profiting all the money. So I was like, So what made me learn about self-publishing was, one, that you could do it on your own, that the word no doesn't stop you, and that you don't need the next man to make your dreams come true. I did it on my own.
Yeah.
And it's the third restock this Friday, and every time I post it on Instagram, it continues to get sold out, and I'm so grateful.
Well, Ramsey Case wants to know what message can you have for poets and writers or storytellers about self-publishing, something that they should always keep in mind?
Keep in mind your audience. Who are you talking to? What is it that you want to portray? Because again, like we were saying earlier, there's so many different types of poetry that a lot of people don't know.
Absolutely.
You know, and I noticed that like when going to different venues, especially different venues in different boroughs,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Bronx is lit all day, but Bronx is lit all day. But like you see the different types of poetries and the different type of spoken words. So what I would tell a poet that wants to start writing a book is find out who you are and what kind of message you want to portray to your audience. Because again, me suffering from anxiety and depression, I was so ashamed to tell anybody that I wasn't quote unquote normal. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean? That I had to go through therapy, that I had to like go through all these issues to be okay, that it's fine, that I'm just normal like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what I mostly focused on in the book, was about my mental illness, and obviously of course the loss of my brother, because I wanted to speak to other people who lost their brother or mother or sister, but
Yeah.
mostly on mental illness and also social injustice. So figure out whatever you stand for and what you believe in and put it in the book and put it in that pen.
Now, you mentioned mental health, and I know that you are a big mental health advocate.
Yeah.
What has been your journey through mental health? I mean, I myself have gone through my own situations. I've been in hospitals,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, like, what has been your journey in mental health?
My journey with mental health is up and down. There's some good days, there's some bad days. Yesterday I had a bad day. Today I'm having a good day. Um, there's some days that I don't want to speak to anybody. There's some days that I want to be comfort and I want to be around people. Again, with losing my brother, it really, not that it sparked it, but I guess it brought it to the forefront because I was just ignoring it. It was being like a unconscious thing. Um, so I started taking therapy this year, which has helped tremendously. And therapy, I realized that in Black and brown families, we look down upon it. It's like we don't want to talk to somebody else about our problems. We'll
Yeah,
just
that's
like to
white
keep.
people. That's white people shit.
That's why people should. We like to keep it in the household. No, honestly, you need the person that doesn't know you and that's not gonna like baby you to tell you, no, this is your issues and this is how we're gonna work through it. And I needed somebody, and I'm so grateful for my therapist because she told me, okay, so you have this problem. This is how we are gonna fix it. And like Ramsey just wrote, therapy is healthy.
Yes, it is. It's
Therapy
very
is healthy,
healthy.
yeah.
Michael J wanted to know, with all the darkness that came in 2020, what gave you the strength to finish this book?
The darkness that happened in 2020. No, honestly, it was so much darkness. I don't even think, I feel like when we first got, because it was a new decade. So I remember in New Year's, we were cheering, yes, to the next 10 years. My 20s are about to be done in 2 more years. My 20s were fucking horrible. Fuck niggas. So that's why I was going into this year. And then March came, COVID came, then George Floyd, then Ahmaud Arbery, then Breonna, then our fucking president, and finally we got rid of. I think everything happened so fast that the darkness of 2020, I used it and I was like, no, this is not gonna put me down. Because if we let it bring us down, then we're like basically giving ourselves to what they wanted us to do. And it was not gonna let me down. So everything that came to us, I'm pretty sure everybody in this chat could relate. It was a dark times, but you have to find an outlet. And writing the book was my outlet.
So that was like your escape, you know?
Yes, it was just like every night, like my hand was moving. I'm like, okay, I have more things to say, I guess. Fuck.
Sure.
I started thinking about that relationship 2 years ago. I was like, I got over that nigga.
I was over him.
Like, fuck.
Now, how has like your journey in as a creative and being in the like LGBT community, like, do you find like a lot of support there as well when it comes to your art?
Oh, LGBT community, yes, for sure. I feel like again, not only as men, but as gay men, we're so surface that we're afraid to show what to be vulnerable. To be relatable. And I feel like again what we were saying earlier about the whole exterior thing, when we start realizing that internally we all have the same issues, we all have the same problems. And I remember I would go out to clubs and people would stop me and be like, yo, thank you for writing that poetry because that's what I was feeling. And I'm like, no, don't thank me. Write it yourself. Say it out loud. And they're like, no, I can't. I was like, I'm grateful for these people to lean on me to be the spoken word, but the more people that come out and say, no, I have this issue, I have this issue, I have body dysmorphia, I don't like the way I look. You understand what I mean? The more as a community, as the LGBTQ plus community, we can stand together. And you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be all about, well, you're popular or you look like this or I want. No, we all the same people. We all exactly go through the same problems, especially the LGBT community, especially with this nation right now.
Absolutely. Now, when you came out, was it early in your age, in your early years, or was it?
I actually had a girlfriend for like all through high school and after. I came out like at 19 years old. I came late.
What?
Yes, my first boyfriend was at 21 years old.
What
and I'm
was
28
the hold
now.
up? What was the hold up? Were you scared?
I honestly don't know because I was having a conversation with my mom and my mom was like, I'm urban as fuck. like I was like, Mom, no, I was into the girls. Like, so she's like, wait, I remember coming out in Thanksgiving and my family, God bless them, they're so urban. I came out on Thanksgiving and I was like, I started off with the whole bi thing because I was in a relationship with a girl and I was really loving her and fucking her and all that good shit. And everything in between. So I came out and I was like, I have an announcement. I am bisexual. My mom was like, child, sit down. So, it was so like it didn't faze her at all.
Everybody was like, yeah,
and my mom was like, I don't care. She was like, that's not a good announcement. Like that's just suck.
I love your mom.
Realizing that I started realizing and speaking to like my colleagues and my friends that when you have a family that is not as supportive, I think that's what triggers to you to figure it out, like try to like seek out like it's like something you hide. I guess because my family was too supportive that, you know what I mean, it was no big deal. You know what I mean? It was not like my mom used to have like gay talk about gay people or lesbians or transgender when I was like 6 years old and I didn't even come out. I didn't even know what the hell that was. But my mom just showed me love is love. So when I came home to my first boyfriend, everybody was on phase. Even my grandmother, who I thought like, you know, comes from Dominican Republic and she's so old school, she was like, sit down, have a beer. I was like, oh, I was like, you guys are way too comfortable for me. You know? So I'm so grateful. So I came out late because, again, I loved who she was and I love her. But at the same time, I started realizing that there was something different about me. And I also didn't want to do it behind her back.
Yeah.
So I waited till that relationship was over and then figured out who I really was.
Good.
Yeah.
That's smart. I mean, there's no need to rush. And you know, sometimes you do have to like kind of process things yourself before you're ready to like actually expose yourself to everybody, you know?
And when you're alone.
Yeah, super vulnerable. We have Jeffrey Acevedo that's saying, what do you want next? What do you want now after this first book is done?
Jeffrey, what do I want now? Well, right now I want to slow down because the book is still happening. So my ass needs a break. I'm gonna enjoy Thanksgiving. I'm gonna enjoy Christmas. I definitely do. Hopefully, COVID is done by 2021. I want to do a part 2 to the charity event that I did in January when I teamed up with Jose. So hopefully this year we could team up with you.
That was nice. I'm actually gonna see him. I'm going to Philly tomorrow.
Oh, that's lit. Tell him
so I will be seeing Jose and a whole bunch of Philly poets out there.
Yeah, now they lit. So I really want to do a part 2 too because the charity event was under my brother's name. So I want to continue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was like all the proceeds went to Bronx Connect, which is an organization that definitely went to stopping gun violence and taking gangs off the street.
Oh, wow.
So I really want for the new year to do a part 2 to that event. Definitely really want to do that.
Oh, that would be amazing. And let me know. I'm
always. For sure. The first one was so amazing. We had performers from The Voice. We had season 16 from The Voice, actually, Julian King. We had dancers, we had singers, we had poets, we had self-made poet, we had Brandon. I'm pretty sure you know who they are. Yeah. So especially self-made, she's lit. So we had such an amazing poets just come out and speak, and it was amazing just to have my family be there and see that the LGBT community and just the poetry community and the dancing community all supported them. You understand me? It was till this day my mom speaks about it.
Of course. I'm sure she's like honored, and especially if it's something that's connected to her son and her sons at that,
because I was the host, and then we had like this big screen just passing all home videos of him. So my mom ended up telling me that night that she felt like he was in the room with us again. You understand what I mean? So that made me happy.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I see. Are you like a boxer, or you just like to have boxing gloves in the room?
Yeah, so I won my first match this year. I'm telling you, 2020 came in. So I won my first match in August. So I was so excited. Yeah, I do boxing. It was another way of therapy. It was another therapy, another form of therapy, basically. I had so much anger built up, and I was like, don't know where it was coming from, and I was just mad. So I put it in the gloves, and it started working out.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Oh, thank you.
I thought either he's boxing or he just has it there in case he got to knock a motherfucker out real quick.
That too. We never know what's going to walk through these doors.
And what made you, okay, so you needed another outlet. And what was that like? Like, were you starting boxing from scratch, or had you done it before?
Well, at first I did it for workout purposes because this year I lost 40 pounds.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my God, Flaco, excuse me.
Hey. Nah, they ain't ready yet. They ain't ready yet.
They ain't ready.
So yeah, with boxing, I started like going to the gym. It started as a workout purposes. And then the trainer who was training me started realizing that I had anger. Because there were some days that I would just come with some headphones on and not speak to anybody. And he would be like, so he took me aside and was like, hey, what's wrong? And I say, hey, my brother died 4 years ago, so I'm using this as an outlet. He was like, so I'm going to train you. So it started going from fitness into actually getting into the ring, and him putting his journey on me and teaching me. And it also became a psychological thing in helping me with poetry, because it gave me, if I have the courage to get on into a ring with a guy that maybe be like 2 times taller than me and over my weight, I could get on a stage and tell people how I feel.
Ooh,
so I connected the two together.
Yes. So you were like shy to get on stage. Now you're not shy, right?
No. The first time I got on stage was when I won New Year weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, hometown. So I won New Year weekend 2 years ago. And I was like, oof, the nerves. I threw up afterwards. I was like, I won? Cool. Like, it was horrible. Then when I started getting featured and all this stuff, it started like literally I had a boyfriend and we broke up in February, and he would tell me like, bro, once you have a mic in your hand, it's like all the nerves just leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me. Like, trust me. I remember my first time at New Year weekend, I was reading from my phone and I was like
shaking.
My phone was like shaking. My voice was like shaking. Oh my God, it was awful. It was probably one of the worst performances ever.
Really?
But I didn't let that stop me. And I got back on stage. Now it's like, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah,
guys.
until like when I know I'm next, when they be like, oh, we have a featured poet, I'm like, but then once they be like, mic on, I'd be like, oh, y'all about to hear some shit.
Yes. How long does it take you to memorize your stuff?
I would say like a month.
Yeah.
Once I start hearing, I have to like basically voice record myself, put it on the headphones, and when I'm on my way to work, I start listening to it over and over.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask you, like, what's your technique?
Yeah, the same way we know all the Beyonce lyrics and the Rihanna lyrics. That's how I use it like as music. So I'm basically the weirdo on the bus, like, so I'm basically ad-libbing what I'm hearing.
You're like,
right, and the person next to me is like, "Whoa,
what song is that?"
Like, he's way too into it.
I love it. All right, so we're gonna take a 30-second break to have a word from our sponsors. When we come back from hearing from our sponsors, I want you to tell us your final gem, your final thought. Do you have one more piece you want to read from the book?
Yeah, we can do one more piece.
All right, let's do that. But let's do a commercial break real quick, and then you'll read another piece from the book, and then we'll wrap up. Sounds good?
Hey, we'll be back.
All right, we'll be right back.
Jay, B-A-D-A, I rip every day, make it look so easy.
From the artist that brought you the debut solo album, Gemini, comes a new EP. Jay Bada presents his sophomore solo project titled Indian Summer, The Prologue. Written and produced during one of the most unique and impactful years of our existence, 2020. Check out this EP full of good intentions, positive lyrics, and a unique flow. Listen from your favorite streaming platform today. For more music from Jay Bada, follow him on IG at JBadaMusic.
All right.
Hey,
Yes.
we're back.
Shout out to Jay Bada. We're back. Shout out to Jay Bada. And shout out to my partner in creative crimes, Leah V. We put together our
I know Leah. Yeah.
Yes, that's the homie right there.
Yes, and condolences to her dad. I know she lost her dad during COVID.
Yes.
So definitely condolences to Leah and her family.
Yes, we love her. That's the
We
homie.
love Leah.
She's my co-host for my virtual open mic.
Yes, I checked them out.
Co-creator of our Writers Unblocked Journal.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony.
Yes.
I know you got another piece from the book for us.
Yes.
All right, please bless us.
Woo. So this one is, funny enough, it's titled Dear Mr. President.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
So it's an open letter that I wrote to Donald Trump. And it goes a little something like this. Land of the free, but lately I haven't been feeling so free lately. Can't turn on the news without seeing the world coming to an end. Without another privileged white man with the ideas of what us minorities should do to be equal to them. Do they not get it? The tears of our ancestors working in those fields when it was life or death for them. Begging for a nickel just so they could feed their child at home while the white power is hovering over them. You see, I wrote this Dear Mr. President letter, and this is what I have to say. Dear Mr. President, I'm writing you this letter because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Leader of the free world, but lately I haven't been feeling so free. I'll lock these chains that your system put into place to make me feel less than. I just have a couple of questions to ask so you can sit in your high horse for 1 minute and answer them. Dear Mr. President, how do you feel when you look in the mirror? Are you proud? Taking innocent kids from their home just because you don't like where they come from. Laying them in cold hard cells that you put them on, starving and screaming for anyone to help, sending them back to a country that they don't even know themselves. Mr. Tough Guys, I guess. Dear Mr. President, are you a racist? I see how you call African Americans black with so much disgust and hate. It's like we're in the 1900s and you're the white man taking their power away. Calling them thugs and game bangers when most of them are fighting a prison system that you put into place just so you can make some money off of them. Dear Mr. President, do you hate us gays? You're the same man that said we shouldn't have equal rights, but what do you care if I love a man? How does it affect you or anyone else? I'm trying to spread love and be equal, and all you do is taking my fucking rights away. Man shouldn't lie with man, that's what he said, but what example of love do you give to your children when all you do is spread hate? Dear Mr. President, there's one last question, and it's the last thing I have to say. And it's me standing up for all the queens in the world. You put women down so much, I would have thought you were the bitch. You say that women are handicaps and saying women are less than, but how do you feel when there's a woman in the army that is the one that saves the day? Women are not an object to your dispense. Just because you got your side puppet doesn't mean all women are the same. I can't wait for a woman to take your spot one day. Dear Mr. President, I know you don't care what I have to say. I'm just a black-skinned, gay, Latino boy that ain't afraid to say into the say. I walk up and down the streets that you call kettle, I call home. And while you're protected by those four walls, I'm happy to see that I'm where I'm from. Dear Mr. President.
Yeah,
that was a tongue twister. I was like,
Tell him.
Fuck that nigga.
Fuck him. Get out of the White House.
Right? Oh, please. January, come faster.
Yes, everybody's over here showing you mad love.
I'm so grateful. And I wanted to take this time out to thank everybody who came out into the show today. Thank you so much. I see everybody. I'm getting like the notifications of everybody screenshotting. So thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for so much supporting the book. And please follow JRose. She's amazing. She gave us this platform. She's awesome. I'm so grateful for you. You're so hardworking.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's a lot, but
it's a lot.
but you know, it's my purpose. So
yes.
although it's a lot of work, you know, this is what I was put on this earth to do, is to have this space for amazing creative people like you and all the other creative people I get to be blessed to cross paths with. So I'm glad, you know, like this quarantine, you know, although it pushed us all inside, I felt like I've never connected with more people in my life outside of New York, overseas. Like,
child, I'd never FaceTime so many people at this point.
Right?
Yes.
I learned how to FaceTime properly now. Before, I used to like have the phone where like my nostril, you just saw my nostril.
You were like this.
Yeah, I was that person. But people were like, we don't want to see your nose anymore. So
yeah, now we have to prop it up.
I'm better. But anyway, before we wrap up and say goodnight to everybody,
yes,
I want to ask one last final question. I ask every guest this question. What is your final gem, your final thoughts, something that you want the audience to walk away with?
Something that I want the audience to walk away with. When somebody says no, you say yes. As simple as that is. As many doors that somebody told me, well, no, you're not good enough, or they were comparing me and I was comparing myself to other people and me, myself, feeling that I wasn't good enough. You have to believe in yourself and know that you are good enough, and you're going to prove it to the naysayers. So when they say no, you say yes.
Ooh, I like that gem. Ooh, this might be one of my favorite interviews.
Oh, thank you.
You're so lit. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. You're lit.
Please, Anthony, tell the audience where they can follow you, where they can find your book, if they haven't copped it yet, and where lead them. Where do you want them to find you?
Well, I only have Instagram and Twitter. So Instagram is urban poet, but with no A. And Twitter is 90s Skate Kid. And the book, you can find it. You can just hit me on the DM. I would tell you where to cash out the money, and I will send it to you.
Yeah, so much easier to do it like that.
Yes, so much easier to do it like that.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Anthony, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure meeting you finally. Hopefully we can meet in person.
I know. And like it's like you've been to all my friends.
Yes, we're all connected. We're all connected together. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was inevitable that we'd cross paths.
This was gonna happen.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please make sure that you follow us at the Rose Garden Events on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment, like, share this. Let people know. The replay will be on Facebook, and we will be posting the replay on our IGTV at the Rose Garden Event. Make sure you follow that. And I'm your host. You can follow me at My Crumble Thoughts if you want to know more about me.
Follow her.
I do a lot of shit, guys. Trust me.
She does a lot of shit.
But yes, make sure that you follow. Thanks again for tuning in. Anthony, do not leave, but we will be saying goodnight to everybody else. And like I always say, guys, keep growing. Peace.